Okay, now it's time to start the process for material creation. And for the first step, I'm going to create a plastic for this area. So let's create a folder, call it plastic. Okay. And now I'm going to add a black mask, add paint. That's it. I'm going to use polygon fill and UV chunk for selecting this part. That's it. So we can create a plastic material from scratch or use smart material in the shelf. So this is the better way to start with the smart material and modify that to achieve what you want. So I'm going to search in here, plastic. Okay, now let's see what we have here. I think plastic used soft is a good option. As you can see, yes, let's go and put it in the folder. Okay, let's open the folder and check what we have. For the first item, I need to change the color to dark gray. Okay, something like this. And for this layer, we can turn off the height channel because we have all the data that we want in the height. So we don't want this channel makes us some bothers or something like this. So let's turn it off and let's go for the roughness variation. Okay, it's good. It makes some variation in the roughness data channel. So that's okay. And let's go for the bombs and see what this layer can do for us. Okay, we can increase the tiling amount to something like 10. And yeah, and we can play with the height value. And due to we are using displacement modeling technique inside the painter, this is very essential for us to control the height channel for each layer in our material. So this is very important for us to control the height channel. So let's decrease the amount of height channel to something like 0.01. Yeah, I think it's good. And we can see this layer did his job in the normal output. So everything is okay. And let's go for the next layer. And we have some white dirt on the surface or speckles. And let's go to the mask and play with the grunges to achieve a good result. Okay, I'm going to play with the seed over here. And yeah, it's good. That's it. So let's go for the roughness variation. This roughness variation does his job very good. Let's go to the roughness channel. And as we can see, there is some variation and we can play with that. Okay, and let's go to the roughness channel and bring up the opacity. Okay, so we can increase the tiling, and now, yeah, it's better. Okay, so for the edges, we can use macro detail here. Okay, so let's add handle height and change the reference channel to height. Okay, and let's play with the curvature intensity. As you can see, yeah, we can see the details here. That's it. Okay, maybe we can invert and bring down the opacity to something like this and add another generator and change the blending mode to linear dodge. And in here, I'm going to use metal edge. So in the metal edge, I'm going to use macro detail again for the height. Let's load the height handle, change the reference channel to height, and bring down the grunge amount, bare level. Okay, play with this slider. Okay, and let's add a fill layer and add some grunges. Okay, that's it. And let's change the blending mode to subtract because I want to remove the generic style of the metal edge. So let's subtract it. Yeah, it's very good. And we can add a filter like warp and increase the intensity divider. So we can control the effect and play with the source parameter. For example, tiling, source blur. Okay, that's it. Let's go to the material, and yeah, it's so much better, but it's too much, it's too much for this layer and this kind of surface. So let's add the curvature again. It's okay. Let's add the metal edge, and we should decrease the amount. Yeah, like this. And I'm going to use the grunge for subtracting some area. And yeah, let's use warp. So it's okay right now. Maybe we can increase the blur level again or use grunge amount, but no, I think it's okay. Yeah, and we can change the blending mode of the color to soft light, remove this filter, and in here I'm going to use the white value and decrease the opacity. So, and we can add roughness and change the roughness value to something like 0.1. Increase the opacity of the color, and yeah. Okay, this is the soft dirt. So we can use again macro details in the generator. That's it. Height handle. Change the reference channel to height and play with this slider to achieve what we want. Yeah. Okay, grunge amount should be lower. Okay, that's it. So this is for the soft dirt. Let's decrease the value in the color. Okay, that's it. Okay, now I'm going to add some noise for this surface and add a hexo pattern for this one. So let's go after the base. I'm going to add a fill layer called surface noise and add a filter here. In this filter, I'm going to use the grainy, matte finish grainy. So this is a surface noise that I want to apply for this surface, but we need to have some mask to control the area that we want. So let's add a black mask. I'm going to use a fill layer and recall the mask holder number 1 in the mask. So this is the mask that I want. So let's play with the level to control the surface. That's it. Now we have the surface pattern for ourselves, and let's disable everything, and I just need to have normal. Okay, Let's play with the scale and intensity of the grain. Okay, that's it. And let's add hexo pattern and add a black mask. So let's create the black mask at the first step, and after that we can play with the data in the layer. So let's add a paint layer. Okay, I'm going to select this area. Yeah, and I'm going to recall the mask holder number 1 again and use subtract for blending mode. So we have this little area and we can control like this. If we want to have some hexo pattern here, we can use these settings, but I don't want to have a hexagon pattern here. So let's control the mask. Okay. Yeah, and add a paint layer. I'm going to change the blending mode to subtract, and let's paint this area that we don't want. We can use 2D window for this purpose. And yeah. So we have the mask. We can add a fill layer again, and in the grayscale I'm going to call hexagon, and we can use these masks here. For example, this one, or yeah, maybe this one is better. So let's decrease the amount of tiling to something like 10, and now we can change the blending mode of the hexagon to multiply and tell to Substance Painter, okay, we have the mask, we have the area that we want to show the hexagon over there. So let's multiply this pattern in that area. So everything is okay. And we can control the mask like this. We can decrease or increase divisions of the hexagon. Yeah, and done. Now we can play with the height slider to control the effect inside the holes. That's it. Okay, now let's go back to the hexagon. We can change the projection to something like triplanar, for example, and play with the tile again. And maybe this one is better because we can see the pattern inside the holes very clear. And let's go back to the edges and add some negative value in the height. I think it can help us to have a good result. Okay, now let's increase the level, decrease the grunge amount. Yeah, we have it. And now we can control the roughness, as you can see. Yeah, we are done for the plastic part, and let's go and move to the steel part. So now it's time to move for this section. For this section, I'm going to use a steel part, a painted steel surface, and let's create the folder. I'm going to call it steel painted. Okay, and let's add a black mask. Now I'm going to add a paint layer, and in the mask I'm going to use polygon fill, use the element to select all handle section, and after that I'm switching to UV chunk and press X to invert my color and deselect this part related to the plastic. We can also use anchor point and recall it the plastic mask here and change the blending mode to subtract to avoid any conflict between them, but it's okay. You can use different methods for different purposes. So let's go for the steel painted. And regarding to the solid black, It's not related to our material at all. It's related to the bend normal feature in the shader. And when we export the textures and render it in Marmoset, everything will be okay. So don't worry about this. And whenever we are working in this area, we can turn the bend normal off and check what we have. And after that, we can turn it on again. So for this steel part, I'm going to search steel. Okay. And let's check steel paint. Oh, miss as well. Yeah, steel paint chipped dirty, clear coat, rough damage. Yeah, I think it's better. Okay, so let's load this one and put it in the folder. And actually I like this kind of color harmony here. So I'm going to keep the blue in the steel part. That's it. So let's check what we have here. So this is the solid color that we have in the base paint. So I'm going to change the color, to something like this. Okay, that's it. Let's turn on the fill. What we have, it's a good variation in roughness and color at the same time, but its effect on the roughness more. Okay, that's good. That's very good. So let's add a color variation here. We can make so many color variation for each surface. It depends on the priority that you have. So in here, I just need one or at the most 2 color variations. So let's call that one. And in here, I just need to keep my color. Yeah, it's pure white. So let's change this layer to pure white. Yeah, and change the blending mode to soft light, as you can see. Now it's time to add a black mask. And in the black mask, I'm going to use a fill layer. In the grayscale, let's type leak. Okay. And I'm going to use the grunge leaks. So this is the grunge leaks. Let's increase the tiling and turn on the contrast and set the value to 0.31 and decrease the balance. Okay. No, I didn't get the result that I want. So let's type grunge. So let's check what we have. Okay, this one, no. Okay, yeah, I think this one is better. Yeah. Let's decrease the contrast to 0.3. And after that, let's play with the balance. Yeah, I think this value is better. Let's increase the tiling. Okay, that's it. So we have some color variation here. And let's decrease the opacity to something like 25. Yeah. Yeah, we are good to go. And we can even add another grunge. Okay, let's go to the mask. For example, this one. And use the subtract in the blending mode and make some difference, okay, in the mask that we had before. So this is the color variation number 1, and we can play with this slider to achieve the result that we are looking for. And let's add another color variation, color number 2, and absolutely I need just color. And let's add some yellowish effect or orange. Okay, play with the blending mode. Okay, I think darken, it's a good blending mode for this color variation. And let's decrease the amount to something like 30. and add a black mask, add a generator, and in here I'm going to use curvature. Okay, so we have this curvature style. I need this effect on the edge, and let's blur. Okay, and in the macro details I'm going to load handle height and reference it to height channel. And yeah, that's it. And we can play with the contrast too. Okay, let's add another fill layer. And in this fill layer, I'm going to use some grunge-like dirt splats. And let's change the blending mode to multiply. So we are just telling to the software, okay, we have the area that we want to show the color variation number 2. And inside that, please multiply this map. And we can see this map in here. So let's play with the contrast and balance. Again, we can play with the tiling amount. And yeah. So we can add a filter like blur. Okay, like this. And yeah, we have some yellowish or orangish color variation inside our color. So, and now we can play with the blending mode again to see what is the result. Okay, I think a screen is good. And if we decrease the opacity, okay, now let's increase the global balance and play with this one. We can use different grunges here, like this. Yeah, this one is better. So let's add contrast. Okay, and that's it. Yeah. So let's go for the dirt. We have dirt. That's good. But maybe we can add a generator, change the blending mode to linear dodge, and let's use the dirt generator as well, and turn on macro height. Go to the macro height again, and in here, let's load the height handle. That's it. I'm going to reference it to channel, and boom. We have all the data in dirt generator, so we can play with these sliders to achieve what we want. Let's decrease the amount of dirt level. And now I'm going to use a fill layer and load a grunge like this. Oh, it's not good. Yeah, I think dirt splats, it's better. Okay, tiling number 6. Let's change the blending mode to subtract. Okay, it's very good. Play with the balance and contrast. Yeah, I think it's a good dirt layer. Okay, and we can increase the multiply in the color. Oh, we don't need to have height. And for the roughness, yeah, maybe higher amount in the roughness, and we don't need actually metallic, but it's good to be here. So AO dirt. For the AO dirt, we have mask editor, and in the mask editor we have macro detail again, and we can turn on macro height. And in the macro height, let's load height handle, change the reference channel to height, and boom, we have the AO dirt here. But we have AO plus here, so you don't need to add any AO dirt or something like that for next layers. So we have surface detail. Okay, that's good. We don't need to touch anything. Just check the mask. Okay, let's increase the opacity here. Yeah, that's it. So let's go for the edge. The edge is very important for me because with the edge effect, we can tell, yeah, we have steel under this paint layer. So let's go for the edge. You can even use a metal material. Yeah, for example, this one in the material itself. Yeah. And okay, let's add a paint layer and just paint something here. Okay, so this is the layer that we are going to show. Okay, we have steel part or metal part under this paint layer. So we need to create some surface difference height level. So for the first step, I'm going to add a fill, turn off this height in the material itself, and let's control the height amount in different sublayer. So let's decrease the height. Yeah, something like, oh, it's too much. Maybe this one. Yeah, or maybe this one. Oh, it's too little. Yeah, this one is better. So this is the layer that I'm going to tell the material we have still under this paint. And we need some transition between the paint and the steel itself. So let's add another fill layer. I'm going to call it a 2-layer transition for better understanding. And let's add a black mask. I'm going to add an anchor point here. And after that, let's load this anchor point. Okay, this is the edge mask. Okay, that's it. Let's duplicate this fill layer and put the blending mode to subtract. And now between them, I'm going to add a blur filter. So as you can see, I just expand this mask and subtract this mask from itself. So in this way, I can create this kind of effect. So now I can create the transition. For example, I can make this peeling effect, or maybe just coloring effect. Let's change the color to something like dark and put it in a soft light, or multiply, for example, or make another color, as you can see, and it's fully dynamic and it's updated. Okay, so we have our structure, and now we need to adjust the transition layer. So for this one, let's go add soft light. I'm going to make it pure white, and roughness should be on number 1, and we don't have any metallic. Okay, and maybe add a filter. Okay, we can do something else. Let's turn off the color. You just need to have height, roughness, and metallic here. And now we are going to use HSL, or we can use contrast. Okay, that's better. And let's change the blending mode for the color to pass. And we just need to change the color in the filter. So now we can use the contrast luminosity to create the effect that we want. Yeah. And let's add HSL filter. Okay, now we can change the saturation, hue, and this kind of effect. Yeah. And maybe this one. Yeah, it's better. Or maybe darker. No, darker is not effective for this. Yeah, let's keep it simple. Okay, that's it. So even we can create another layer for second effect. Let's add anchor point before the subtraction, and let's create the third layer transition, and I'm going to add a black mask, add a fill. Okay, now here I'm going to load the second layer transition. Okay, and again the same structure. I'm going to duplicate this one and put the blending mode to subtract and add a filter like blur. Okay, we can use this filter here again, and yeah. Okay, let's play with this slider. Okay, and now we have our second transition. So as you can see, so let's change the blending mode of the color to something like soft light and use a darker color, and we can play with the height again like this. Maybe negative value is a good option. Yeah, this one is okay. Roughness value in a different value of the second layer, and the metal should be on, and that's. And now we can create our mask in the edge. So let's add a metal edge. Okay, I'm going to turn on macro height here and use the handle height, change the reference channel to height, and boom. But we don't need grunge amount. We don't need contrast with this too much value. Okay, we have this. We can use edge smooth, and let's play with this one. Okay, and we have this grunge map multiply with the metal edge. Okay, and let's see what we have. So let's make the metal edge very solid without grunge, and increase the curvature intensity, height intensity. We need to have a strong metal edge mask. Okay, that's it. And let's change the grunge that we have here to dirt, for example. Yeah. And we can increase the contrast and play with the balance to achieve the result that we're seeking to. And okay, let's add another layer. I'm going to use grunge leaks. Okay, with the contrast value in a high level, and let's play with the balance. Change the tiling mode to 4, for example, and maybe play with the offset. Okay, so I need to change the blending mode to subtract, and as you can see, we have this effect. We can increase the wear level again to have the edge effect on the surface. And now we can add another fill layer, and for example, load vibe Blicky. Okay, that's good. And let's increase the tiling to something like 12. Increase the contrast value. Okay, now we have some mask like scratches on the surface. Play with the balance to control the detail. And let's change the blending mode to linear dodge. So now we have this kind of effect here. We can play with the contrast and the balance. Yeah, that's it. Maybe lower value in tiling. It's a better way to have this effect. Okay, that's it. And now we can use warp filter here to break the generic mode. Yeah, something like this. And let's what we have here. Okay, this is without these two layers, and this one create the better result. So you can add a paint layer here and choose a brush from the asset library window. For example, this one. Okay, and now you can paint some effect in here. Yeah, like this. It depends on the reference or your personal workflow. You can do anything that you want here. So I'm happy with the result with the grunges and generators. So I'm going to keep this one like this, and let's go for the material itself. And I'm going to change it to something like iron. Okay. And let's increase the balance and contrast here. Okay, now I can see the contrast in the metal edge can give me different result. Okay, now it's good. And let's go back to the fill layer and put the lower value. And in here, okay, yeah, I can change the metal rough to have an old style. Metal. So I think it's too much right now. Let's go back to the metal edge and change the value of the wear level to lower amount. Okay. Yeah, it's so much better. And even I can duplicate this one and change the blending mode to linear dodge and play with the wear level. Okay. Or maybe just add a paint, turn off the symmetry, and just paint here to have some unique result like this. Okay, so let's change the material again. I don't like it at all. For example, a stylized raw metal. Maybe it's better. Yeah, I think the previous one is what it was too noisy. So let's change the metal color to dark gray. Yeah, it's so much better. It's so much better. Yeah, as you can see, yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. Okay, now I think that's enough for the material. For the final layer, I'm going to add HSL or color control. And now I'm going to add a pass through. And now let's add a filter, HSL. And we can control the hue, saturation, lightness, and everything related to the color. So perfect. And we are done for this part. Let's go for the blade itself.